Gareth, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much, John.
Lovely to see you on the programme in a kind of a different guise here.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, now tell us what this bit of madness is all about.
Well, I was watching Bear Grylls, the Christian Explorer, a few months ago doing another one of his excellent documentaries, and I thought, what could I do that would, raise a bit of profile, show that Christians are normal, raise a bit of money for charity, maybe travel to a few countries, but wouldn't involve death-defying exercise. And I thought, I'm very into cars, and maybe driving might be a bit easier than walking across the Sahara.
And the rules of this particular competition that you and a colleague have entered involve buying a car that costs less than £100.
That's right. I mean, the rules are slightly flexible. To be honest, we bought our car for £160 on eBay, but
right.
It's a deeply troublesome motor, so I think we probably deserve a medal even for getting that one. Two friends from university, one's an engineering student, mechanical engineering student, one's an electrical engineering student, and they spent most of the weekend just gone rebuilding the engine, so it's still not quite running. It runs enough that our latest promotional video on our website has the car in motion, but after about 10 minutes it overheats, so not very good for the desert yet.
Have they figured out why it's overheating?
Yes. Basically the water pump doesn't work, so there's no water for
that's a fairly easy solution, though, if you can buy a new water pump, isn't it?
Absolutely. Although, we're obviously looking out for donations and the cheapest possible solution to all our problems.
Yes. Although you don't want spares that are going to themselves break down.
No, totally. And obviously we'll need to bring a few extras with us, I reckon, for the more tricky parts of the rally.
Right. So there'll be spark plugs and water pumps and cables and all sorts of
absolutely
tools in the boot.
On our website. Yes. Because at the end of the day, the car gets auctioned for charity at the other end, as well as the money we're raising for charity ourselves. So any tools people can give to us would obviously be fantastic, because we can't fly home with them, and they'll be very useful to the people in the Gambia.
Oh, right. Excellent. Well, that is very good indeed. The particular car you've got is a 30-year-old Saab, is that right?
That's right. We've been very grateful to all the Saab owners clubs out there. They've been very helpful with parts and things. There seems to be quite a fan club for this old classic. But yes, a slightly eccentric motor and maybe a little unreliable after 30 years.
Oh dear. Okay, and 2 or 3 of you going in the car?
There's 3 of us all together,
right.
So we are good friends from university, but I suppose this will test our friendship to the absolute extremes.
And where will you stay overnight? Will you sleep in the car?
Good question. I think whenever we're driving down to Gibraltar for our ferry, I think we'll probably be, I don't know, we'll be probably doing much sleeping, and it'll be very cold. When we're in Africa, it'll probably be a lot warmer. I don't know whether we'll be sleeping under the stars or in pop-up tents. There's a few rest days where some cheap local hotels have been booked, and the rally organisers have had a relationship with them over a number of years, so we're able to mix and mingle with the other competitors.
It sounds very exciting. And any particular charities, are you raising money for charity as you do this, as well as selling the car off for charity at the end?
Absolutely. Well, we've done 2 things. To cover our costs, because obviously there are costs incurred in such a rally, we're selling stickers on the sides of the car, and the roof and the bonnet are still up for grabs, to companies, and that's kept separate so that people don't think we're dipping into our charity fund. So entirely separate to our sponsorship money, we have gift-aided donations pages on our website, and we're aiming to raise £5,000 for Tear Fund and £5,000 for Macmillan Cancer Support.
Right.
And thus far we've raised £4,400, so we're just under halfway, and we've got about a month to go. So if people want to go online and give to us, we'd be most grateful.
Fantastic. Well, just tell us about the web address then.
It's our team name is Sanddodgers, assuming that we probably won't be dodging sand, we probably will be dodging soap. So it's www.sanddodgers.co.uk, and that's got 3 Ds in it.
Oh, I see. As in Sanddodgers. Yes, okay, right. Just to make that clear. Okay, sanddodgers.co.uk.
That's right.
Okay. You leave on Boxing Day.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying to me off air earlier that you kind of leave in 3 or 4 batches of cars. You don't all go at once, or it'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
It would. Well, basically, it's a heavily oversubscribed rally. There's about 400 applicants, about 200 places, and they split them up into about 4 different batches that go within a few days of each other. And our batch leaves on Boxing Day, and our flights leave from the Banjul on the 16th of January. So we've got a deadline to get across the desert in 3 weeks.
Right. You cross the channel on the ferry or the train, or
well, kindly Spar are sponsoring us, and they've as it's Spar Southwest, they are actually making sure that we leave from Plymouth itself, which is why it's called the Plymouth-banjul Challenge. They're sponsoring our ferry to Roscoff, and then we'll be driving down through France, through Spain. Madrid should be interesting, and then I think there's a stop off in Gibraltar, but I think the ferry itself leaves from Spain, just outside Gibraltar, and we go go across to Ceuta, and then we have to endure about 9 hours of Moroccan customs to get across into Africa.
9 hours? Is
I
that what
believe
they
so.
reckon it takes to get through?
Absolutely, yes, and apparently bribery and corruption is rife. So Bible Society have kindly given us some Bibles. Whether that'll get us arrested or whether it'll ease our border crossings, I have no idea, but I'm willing to find out.
But as you say, hopefully they're expecting these people to arrive, these mad people in their old bangers and driving down to Gambia.
Well, it's the 4th year of it, so I think they maybe have an inkling that we're coming, yes.
Why Gambia? Why not South Africa? Go the whole hog.
Well, the rally's a bit of a mockery of the Paris to Dakar rally, and the Gambia, I suppose, is the nearest country they could find. It's actually one country further down, so it's slightly further than the Paris-Dakar rally. And the idea is where the Paris-Dakar rally, you have to have millions of pounds, and it's extremely expensive. The aim of this game is the entrance fee £7.50. You're only supposed to spend £15 of your own money to prepare the car and £100 of your own money to buy the car. So you really need to bring in all your friends, encourage sponsorship, everything really that makes the rally more inclusive.
Right. It sounds remarkable and great fun, and I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful time on it. How's the car going to do over sand, though? Do you have to have special wheels, or...?
Well, one thing on our wish list is actually a little electrical tyre pump, because apparently you can let the tyres down and that helps enormously. It's interesting, actually. The most important thing is a reliable car, and Ladas, apparently, because they probably only have about 3 moving parts, no Lada has ever failed to finish the rally, so it's not actually necessary to have a 4-wheel drive, although when we're in the desert they'll split the teams up into groups of 5, so that if vehicles break down irretrievably, then no one's left stranded.
Right. And what happens if you break down irretrievably in the desert? The car's abandoned, I suppose, is it?
It would
covered
be
by the sand after a while.
Well, yes, quite possibly. Although we're hoping that we will indeed make it the full distance. But yeah, I think relatively few cars fail to complete. It's amazing how many cars do actually succeed in being auctioned.
Makes you wonder why we spend so many tens of thousands on our cars, doesn't it?
Very good question. Very good question. Yes.
Okay, you're leaving Boxing Day. You'll get there roughly when? 3 weeks after?
Yeah, the 16th. Well, maybe a few days before that. That's our fly home, so we'll hopefully get there with a bit of time to spare. But yes, the ferry leaving from Spain to Africa is on the 29th. New Year's in Marrakesh, and then the tricky bit will be once we leave Marrakesh and we actually have to head down the coastline of Africa between the Sahara Desert and the sea.
It all sounds rather grueling. I mean, what sort of number of hours a day will you be driving?
It depends on the actual ground that we're covering. There is a section where there's a bit of disused minefield, which is quite interesting. But I think most of the other teams have explored the safe routes through that. And there's another section where there's about 300 miles where there is no road, and that's the bit that'll really slow us down. On average, we only need to do about 180 miles a day, but obviously on a reasonable dirt track, that's not onerous. But if you're having to travel across sand dunes, then obviously that will...
And are you all going to share the driving equally?
Yes, that is the plan. Yes.
And have you ever done long journeys before? Have you?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because my previous job, I was Steve Chalk's chauffeur, and
so you have.
And I don't know if Steve's listening in, but his drivers do many, many thousands of miles. Although it has to be said, those are on nice English motorways.
Right. A little bit different. Well, it all sounds absolutely fantastic. If people want to support you, in other words, support one of the charities, how do they go about it? What's the best way?
All the details are on our website. We have YouTube videos, we have T-shirts people can buy, we've got Christmas cards people can buy. All the money from those are going straight to our charities. And obviously, if there are companies out there that want to sponsor us, we've nearly reached our funding for our support. Right. So actually, to be honest, most of the company sponsorship we get now, the excess will automatically go towards our charities anyway.
Right. Fantastic. And I see it says we need lots of things, everything still from car parts to mosquito nets and food as well. Are you carrying all your own food, or some of your own food? Well,
some of our own food, but we'll obviously have to carry medical supplies and so on and so forth. I think this afternoon I get the last of my inoculation, so I'm not exactly looking forward to the needle.
Well, indeed. And what about mobile phones? Do they work in many of those countries?
They do, apparently, and the rally organisers do have a text system where you can text in your progress, but we're hoping to go a little bit better than that. We're hoping to bring along some kind of simple computer and also a video camera, and we're hoping to certainly post blogs on our website as we go,
right.
And possibly even video clips.
I thought you were going to say a satellite phone, because they'll work anywhere, won't they?
They would. If someone's willing to lend us a satellite phone or even indeed a video camera, we will endeavour to bring it back. But we don't yet have the budget for that.
All right. It all sounds